we're gonna teach you my version of a classic Italian dish, tagliatelle al ragù. This recipe is very important to me because when we start serving at Osteria Francescana, people finally started coming to the restaurant. And we showed the locals that we could cook better than their grandmothers. Taka is going to help us to cook a very, very important recipe. Tagliatelle al ragù means, pasta alla bolognese, whatever you want to call. So Taka now is preparing, cutting and chopping celery, onions, and carrot. And Taka, with his skills and his knowledge, and the art of using his knife, is chopping carrots in a perfect brunoise, perfect shaped cubes. So Taka is starting with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, right? Right, Taka?
Si.
A little bit. And you put some bone marrow. And he starts with very low heat because, you have to caress the ingredient with the fire. You have to use technique to concentrate the flavor of the meat. And each preparation is done with a different step. Taka starts with carrots because are the harder one, And once the carrots are half cooked, kind of soft, you add the onion. And always remember, very low heat. In the fire is like medium-low fire. And celery. Onions is sweetness, and the celery is freshness. Smells delicious. In a different pan, we're going to start with adding the sausage. I'm going to switch with Taka, keep this stir, and we're going to add the sausage. This is a classic sausage from the area. It's just pure pork meat and with a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. No spices at all, Remove the sausage from its casing, so it's just the meat. The smell is amazing, It's like you can feel how good and, tasty is this kind of meat. So the sausage is almost ready, and we're going to go with some paper to remove all the fat in excess. This is a very important trick that you should learn, just to add to the ragu the flavor and not the fat. Perfetto, no? Right. Aggiungi. At this point, we add the sausage to the vegetables. You see, there's no fat at all, left. It's like zero. Go. This is the most important moment, because in the beginning you're gonna give the flavor to the meat. This is the moment in which you are building your own future, the ragu. So right now you have the bone marrow at the bottom that is hugging the celery, carrot, and onion, and the pungent flavor of sausage that is there. This is slow food, and you do everything step by step, because cooking is an act of love, and you have to do it slowly, step by step. Don't run. You don't go anywhere. If you are in a hurry, you can't cook. Cooking is also a way to put together a family, a way to stay with your friends. Cooking is something, you do it because you feel it. Now it's time to work with the meat, the different cuts of the meat. We have cheek and tail. A little bit of salt. And pepper, because we didn't use any salt, any pepper in the beginning, because we already have in the sausage. So we're gonna start kind of aggressive. So we're gonna create this kind of crust on the outside, give that kind of perception of something that is cooked and not boiled, because it's a totally different, it's a totally different approach to when you cook or when you boil the meat, you know? You see the meat, how, you have a crunchiness, and all the juice goes in the heart of the meat. When you're passionate about cooking, details are what really makes the difference. So a piece of meat chosen in the right way, or the way you treat it, makes the difference in the final results. So take time to make the crust. Now it's time for a little bit of white wine, You see, the pan is very hot, so you add a little touch of acidity, and it evaporates very quick. So at this point, the meat is ready. You put everything inside. Now, so you have what you prepared before: celery, carrot, onions, bone marrow, then sausage, and now we're adding like cheek and tails. Tongue. For the tongue is a different approach. Preparing the tongue is very simple. First, get a saucepan and prepare court bouillon, which is a quick broth with cold water, onion, celery, pepper, bay leaf, and dry white wine. Bring to a boil over high heat. Then reduce the heat and add the beet tongue. And let simmer for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Cover. Now we're gonna cut the tongue. You see, it's not cooked yet, but it's already start. What we need the tongue cooked like that, because now we have to take off all the skin. So it's just the meat. In this recipe, I always have in mind what my grandmother was saying, like to make the best ragu, you have to have the big pieces with the most gelatinous meat, and they can cook very slowly, and then at the end, you chop the meat for one simple reason. Because my grandmother grew up in a moment in which the butcher, they were kind of sneaky, and they were ground, everything was left over, and the ground meat, they can put everything they want. So she was like, and no, you're not gonna fool me, I'm gonna choose that tail, that tongue, that cheek, and I'm gonna chop by myself. For me, the chopping was something much more important and much deeper, because when you present a ragu that is like hand chop, the meat can grab to the handmade pasta. Now we saute a little bit, but a little bit, to give that kind of perception, Yeah. Never leave the pan, because otherwise, if it gets burned, you're done. You have to throw away everything. You see? It's already caramelized on top. You should taste. It's just amazing. Actually, would you like some tagliatelle ragu today?
Why not?
For lunch? Yeah. As we did for the cheek and the tail, is adding a little bit of white wine with a very high, flame. So it's gonna evaporate very quick, so you don't have this kind of back taste of acidity of the wine, we are in a very important step. At that moment in which we had to add other ingredients and move the fire low to start a different cooking. So at this point, after we prepare all these ingredients, now we have to, touch them and combine them and create the perfect harmony. We're gonna start adding some concentrate of tomato, or you can use what you call tomato paste. And then after the tomato, we add the fresh herbs. This is rosemary and thyme, okay? So we put with a string that to keep everything and not to leave all the leaves everywhere. Smells amazing, And a couple of bay leaves. The flavor is so complex, and you can feel exactly every single ingredient. It's the way you prepare it. You put everything together, you don't feel anything. If you touch the ingredient one by one, you can feel each one of them. And then we have some chicken broth, a very intense stock that we start adding a little bit at a time. Use just enough broth to cover the meat. And you add it when it's hot. So the same temperature of the meat. At this point, you need time. You have to leave it, you cover it. Taka is covering the sauce with oven paper to keep everything moist during the slow cooking process. Two hours later, in which you were having fun with your friend, start with the appetizer, drinking some good wine, enjoy the company. We go and we check what we are doing. This is just, it's just pure harmony. What you have is pure harmony of flavor. A flavor that has been transferred from centuries and centuries of tradition. So at this point, we're gonna get all these different pieces of meat, and we're gonna put here the cheek, the oxtail, and the two tongue. They're melting, It's they're so tender that it's it's melting. This is what is left, All this amazing mixture of flavor. So taka now is boneless, the oxtail. The oxtail is melting, It's pure gelatin, and it's taking off from the bones the meat that we're gonna go and we're gonna chop by hand. So at this point, we have the oxtail that is boneless, we have the tongue and the cheek, they're ready to be cut. But before cutting, to create the perfect ragu, we're gonna put in a refrigerator a little bit, to lower the temperature down. Could be half an hour, it's okay. In the meantime that the meat is in the refrigerator, we're gonna use il passino, which is a food mill. We're gonna pass through everything, like the sausage, the carrots, the fresh herbs. It's very, 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 very important. This is pure flavor. This is what the tagliatelle, they're gonna absorb, And you see, it's just fantastic what is coming out. So beautiful. The result, the essence of Emilia-Romagna. The meat now is ready, so we're gonna take off and we're gonna chop it. So what it does now is chopping as it was doing with carrots, celery, and onions before, the different cuts of the meat. So you see like how the meat is has this all the fibers and the gelatin inside. It's just a pure flavor when you have in the palate, you know, as the tail, you know, all these bones. Actually, I'm tasting. It's very good. I've stolen a piece of oxtail, but don't tell Taka. He's gonna be mad at me. I'm ruining the proportion eating some tails, so I have to eat also some tongue and. Taka is doing something extremely important right now. When I said we need to show how good we are on technique, and chopping is something that you learn day by day during the whole life, all your career, is the base of everything. You know, you see how he's working with the oxtail. Look at this. He's doing this movement that is very important. He's melting, he's touching the oxtail and chopping. You know, this part, this movement helps all the meat from the oxtail to grab to the handmade pasta. And that's why, you know, we serve the bolognese sauce with tagliatelle, handmade, or lasagna. Because it's like they match perfectly with this kind of preparation. Most of the time, you travel around the world and you have spaghetti alla bolognese. But for us, spaghetti are not matching with the bolognese sauce. Because spaghetti are from south of Italy. Bolognese sauce is from north of Italy. So once you have, you know, this kind of preparation, as Taka did, it's all about, you know, grabbing into the tagliatelle, to the handmade pasta. Especially because when it gets warm, it gets very gelatinous, that is grabbing even much better. See all these different... One thing that is very, very important for this preparation is to keep the pan very clean. Because the temperature and the long cooking, even you can switch the pan. Maybe you have a couple of pans like this. But, you know, in the long process of cooking, the caramelization on the outside of the pan can really affect the flavor of the ragu. But if you keep the pan very clean, you know, it's just perfect. We're going to start cooking the tagliatelle in a chicken broth. It is very important to cook the pasta in the chicken broth because the handmade pasta absorb the flavor. Tagliatelle is the most popular pasta used in Emilia-Romagna. It's very similar to the fettuccine. So I'm going to pour the tagliatelle in the broth. It's handmade pasta, so it's going to cook like in a couple of minutes, you know. We're going to pour a little quantity of the ragu into the sauteuse pan. We add to the ragu a little bit of the chicken stock in which we were cooking the pasta. As soon as you see the pasta that is coming up from the boiling from the pan, is ready. As Italian, you know, we love the pasta always al dente. But so this kind of crunchiness, it's a texture for us. So now it's ready. We didn't add any butter. And actually, for me, with this kind of preparation, you don't even need any cheese. Because the pureness of the flavor that you have with that kind of ragu alla bolognese stays there. And now the tagliatelle is doing like the last step, the last moment of cooking inside the ragu with adding just a little bit of chicken stock. So the pasta itself is gonna taste already like that. You know, it's like risotto style, as we call. You see how we higher the temperature to concentrate all the flavors. You see all the gelatin is melting now. So you need to find the right temperature. I think it's almost done. Yeah. Because you see the things. It's very creamy. And at this point, you close the fire. You let him sit, as my grandmother was saying. Let him sit a little bit to relax. She needs to relax a little bit. You're going to start adding a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. But, you know, because we didn't use any butter, any fat at all, so the only fat we add is like this, basta. A little bit of extra virgin olive oil for the shininess. It's brilliant now. Look at how shiny and creamy and amazing it is right now. This is like the pasta is talking to you and is saying, eat me, please, eat me, I'm here for you. So, bye, go. We leave the Parmigiano on the side, okay? So, the classic preparation, you know, a tagliatelle, presentation of tagliatelle. You see, all the ragu is grabbing on the tagliatelle, on the pasta. So, you see, is a classic preparation, and the way we roll it is kind of bird nest. And we're going to finish everything with ragu that from the bottom of the pan to put on the top. And we love abundance of ragu for one simple reason, to leave you the joy of finish everything with scarpetta, like with the crunchy bread at the end you have, you know, and you go at the bottom of the plate, and you take everything that is left over from the pasta. This is, to me, is like, you see, it's the perfect way to create a tagliatelle alla bolognese, but now it's time to taste it. But not from the classic plate, as we do in the kitchen, directly from the pan. So, because this is the best part.
Ah no, questo è...
Cosa? It's sweet, it's intense. You feel all the perception. You have one bite and you want a second one immediately. This is amazing. Beautiful satisfaction. Long finish that evoke our youthness, evoke where we were when we were kids. And so open the door for the joy of a mom who cooks for you. So that's something that is extremely, extremely important to transfer emotions.